Hakeem Jeffries is in a very risky position. Take a look.
I guess I don't understand what the holdup is on endorsing Zohran Mamdani in the mayor's race.
After refusing to bend the knee to the far left wing of his party, Hakeem is facing growing pressure. Even voices on MSNBC are starting to call for his removal.
We need a change in leadership because if you can't harness this energy right now, you are basically saying we don't care if Donald Trump wins.
And today, we're covering it all. So here we go.
I guess I don't understand what the holdup is on endorsing Zohran Mamdani in the mayor's race. Could you explain that to me?
Yeah, so I didn't know Zohran at all. First time I ever sat down and met with him was last month, in connection with him becoming the Democratic nominee. It was a good conversation. He was out in East New York in that part of the district. That's very important to me, very important to Brooklyn, very important to the city of New York. Often doesn't get a lot of attention. In that conversation, he asked me to put together a follow-up meeting with some community leaders in many of the neighborhoods that I represent, which I told him I would do. We're setting that in motion. Should occur within the next few weeks. And then once that meeting takes place, along with some other conversations that he's having with members of the congressional delegation, and then I'll make a decision thereafter.
Now, for some context, this all started when Hakeem held off on endorsing Mamdani until the final stretch of New York's mayoral race. And that decision damaged his standing with the far left wing of the party. Just last month, Axios reported that several progressives were already refusing to support him for leadership. Mai Vang, a rising progressive figure in California, went as far as saying, quote, Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries have failed to mobilize meaningful opposition to Trump's illegal war, adding, I cannot support this kind of leadership. That's just the tip of the iceberg, by the way. Now, Tim was frustrated with the non-answer he got, and he kept pressing, leading to more talking in circles. Take a look.
Okay. I guess I was a Republican up till 2 minutes ago, and I'm a capitalist, and I had Zohran on, and I went at him on a variety of issues we disagree on, but it's not really a close call, is it? I mean, you have a corrupt mayor that is doing deals with Donald Trump. You had a guy that had to resign in disgrace that already lost a Democratic primary. It's not a close call, right? Why not just endorse him and then work with him?
Well, I think what I can say is that he's the only one I'm scheduled to talk to.
Okay. Why not let's just get it over with, though? You're prolonging the pain, leader. Why not just endorse Zohran? It's not that hard, right?
Well, listen, I understand, but it's not like things aren't happening. I was just in Chicago. I was in Texas. I was in California. Right. We're in the middle of an unprunpredented redistricting war. Literally.
I know. I said just do it, get it out the way. I'm anti Zohran. I'm not even really, I don't even really like, we have a lot of disagreements, but I mean, come on.
This is the major issue Jeffries is dealing with right now. Even when he goes after Trump, it's still not enough for the far left. And that comes from years of media-driven indoctrination where increasingly extreme rhetoric has become normalized. At this point, people have come to expect constant escalation, and anything less gets treated as weakness. Even liberals on X have turned on him. One user wrote, quote, I don't mean this disrespectfully, but you are not the right person for the job. This is a war. We are in a war. You are ineffective. You lack ideas. Step down. Another added this, quote, Hakeem is less than half the speaker Nancy Pelosi was. And that sentiment didn't stay online as it started spilling directly into MSNBC, also known as the propaganda arm of the Democratic Party. But before we play that, we have a quick message from today's sponsor. If you've been following the channel, you already know we've been tracking SAGA metals, trading as SAGMF in the US and SAGA in Canada. In January, we broke down their large-scale drill program in Labrador and how it aligned with the US push for domestic critical minerals. Now, things are accelerating. In just 4 weeks, the company made a major leap. They surpassed expectations and delivered a perfect 36 out of 36 drill results. Then they took it a step further by locking in another titanium asset in the same district as the world's largest titanium mine. Now, here's what really stands out. They scooped it from under Rio Tinto, a top 5 global mining giant worth over $100 billion. If things were targeting the same ground, this is clearly not random. Now, remember, titanium is no longer just an industrial metal. It plays a key role in national defense. Things like fighter jets, radar systems, and advanced naval tech all depend on it. That is why the US is putting serious capital behind securing supply chains, including Project Vault, which brings $12 billion into stockpiling, with another $30 billion aimed at boosting production. So, where does SAGA land? Right in the middle. Policy support is building, capital is flowing, and demand keeps rising. This goes beyond mining. It's geopolitics in action. And SAGA is positioning itself to build a major titanium presence in North America. So, if you want the full breakdown, check the link in the description. Special thanks to SAGA Metals for making today's video possible.
So this is a very unfortunate thing that Hakeem Jeffries is doing for his own political career, frankly. Zohran Mamdani won in Hakeem Jeffries' own district by double digits, by around 12 points. So this is just basically a siren call for anybody in DSA or anybody who is closely associated with Zohran Mamdani to primary Hakeem Jeffries in his own district. I think that's going to be happening also in Dan Goldman's district, et cetera. What people don't understand, I think, about the pro-Palestine issue is that it's a litmus test for folks. If you can be brave and stand up against this genocide, then we can trust you on a variety of different issues. And Zohran didn't win in spite of his pro-Palestine position. He won a majority of Jewish voters because of it. Yeah. And that is what Jeffries is incapable of responding to as somebody who takes money from AIPAC. And it's why Democratic leadership is bogging down this party right now. We need a change in leadership, because if you can't harness this energy right now, you are basically saying we don't care if Donald Trump wins over and over again and this authoritarian takeover continues, because they're rejecting grassroots energy in favor of donors. And that's the core of the problem right now.
Yep, the progressives are going after Jeffries to set an example for the rest of the party. They tried doing something similar with Schumer last year, back when he voted with Republicans to keep the government open. And we've seen how that played out. The bigger issue is the Democratic infighting keeps creating contradictions they cannot easily explain. On one hand, they call for a stronger focus on domestic issues, while at the same time supporting writing blank checks to Ukraine and endlessly talking about the Israeli-Palestine situation. They also claim to support capitalism, yet openly push for policies like a wealth tax. And with a leader like Jeffries in charge, getting a direct answer is already rare enough, even for MSNBC.
Zohran Mamdani came out of nowhere with less money, less fame, beat the Democratic establishment, beat Mario Cuomo, I should say Andrew Cuomo, son of Mario Cuomo, known in New York. Is that a good thing for the Democratic Party?
One of the things that we'll continue to try to do at the national level is to lean in aggressively to Donald Trump's failure to address the high cost of living. He promised to lower costs on day one. Costs aren't going down. It's going up. Inflation is on the way up. Life remains far too expensive for the American people.
I got to tell you,
Democrats want to do something about it.
Respectfully, I see the pivot. You know, you're good at this. That's how you got this job. But then I got to rephrase the question. You're not ready yet to say whether it's a good thing. You want to meet with him. You want to kick the tires. At this juncture, you're not ready to say that this turnout, this energy that he tapped in New York is good for the party yet.
Oh, no, listen. I mean, I think that when you can increase the electorate, particularly as it relates, that is absolutely a good thing.
Okay, you have to give Democrats credit for one thing. They have mastered the art of endlessly talking without actually saying anything. What makes it worse is the fact that they don't even try to provide clear policy positions anymore. On the other hand, as much as we disagree with them, the progressives at least have a clear agenda. That contrast helps explain why figures like Jeffries and Schumer keep facing pressure from under their own side. The entire message is basically, orange man bad, without offering much beyond that. Let me know in the comments your thoughts on this story. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and remember, keep thinking.